You're listening to Exploring Boys Education, a monthly podcast produced by the International Boys Schools Coalition. I'm Bruce Collins. In this special episode, I'm coming to you from St. Mark's School of Texas in Dallas, where 500 or so delegates from around the world gathered in person for the first time in 3 years for the IBSC Annual Conference. The excitement in the room was palpable as we came together again. Without a doubt, too, the St. Mark's community welcomed us with open arms and hosted us with warmth and authenticity. Administration, faculty, staff, parents, alumni, and boys created a celebratory environment that was perfect for our return to in-person annual conferences. This warm welcome was personified by Headmaster David Deeney, IBSC Board Chair Chris Post, and convener of the St. Mark's Conference Organizing Committee, Jason Lang.
I would like to welcome you to the 2022 IBSC Annual Conference. Would you please help me in welcoming our headmaster, Mr. Deeney?
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2022 IBSC Conference. Finally, we are here. It feels so good to be together. On behalf of all of my colleagues and of course all of our boys, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Texas, to Dallas, and of course to St. Mark's. The bonds that we share with one another have been more important than ever, as we all know in this room, as we've leaned on colleagues and trusted friends. I want to acknowledge the leadership and the commitment and the incredible, unwavering devotion of the leader of the IBSC board, Chris Post. He's not only led us through turbulent global times, but also guided the search for our next executive director, Tom Batty, who after a brilliant career as a leader in boys' schools around the globe, will direct the coalition into the future. Chris, we are grateful for your leadership. Again, welcome to all of you. We're so glad you're here. I hope you have an outstanding 2022 IBSC Annual Conference. Now please join me in welcoming Chris Post.
It's my privilege and honor to welcome you to the opening session of the 2022 Annual Conference of the International Boys Schools Coalition. Friends, please join me in thanking the entire St. Mark's Planning Committee, the faculty, the staff, dining, housekeeping facilities, and security members for your extraordinary efforts to make ready your home for our extended stay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Goodness, it is so good to be together again. Friends, we've got ourselves a Texas-sized family reunion ahead of us this week. More than 500 delegates strong and spouse partners from 120 different schools in 12 different countries. There are also, of those 500 delegates, more than 250, in fact 260 of you are first-time attendees. Friends, we come together as a coalition for the first time since Montreal in 2019. We come together at a time when the development of boys and the formation of young men has never been more important. And we do so with a spirit of hopefulness and optimism about the future of and for our boys and the future of our schools. Friends, it's long overdue. As the video closed with, it's time. Welcome to the 2022 Annual Conference of the International Boys Schools Coalition. Saddle up. Enjoy the week.
Over the course of the next 3 days, we have a wonderful program set out for you. Of course, it revolves around the theme, the path to manhood, and we're going to celebrate that path somewhere between the origins of the human species in Africa and beyond the depths of Pluto in our solar system with our keynote speakers. We have 6 plenary sessions for you, 5 workshop sessions, 2 evening receptions this evening and on Tuesday, and we're excited to share all of it with you.
It's safe to say that delegates were overjoyed to be back together again after such a long time.
Yeah, for me, being in the IBSC Annual Conference in Dallas has been like a window open and a great fresh air at the end of this big storm. At this point, I do feel joyful, full of hope, knowledge, and new friends all over the world. The IBSC is something awesome, and David Innie and his San Martin taking it to another level with this amazing conference. They made us feel at home all the time with their staff, parents, students, and I can only say thank you so much.
I think one of the most distinctive features of this organization always has been the sense of camaraderie and that we're in it together, and we've never been tested by a situation in which we had to be more in it together than the last 2 years, and it just underscores, I think, the value of this organization and how happy I am to see old friends.
Yeah, the celebration of being together again.
Exactly, it's terrific.
You think you're making connections online and you think that those connections are authentic, and then the opportunity to meet, because I was working with researchers online, but the opportunity to meet with them face to face, you realise the massive difference that occurs when you have a chance to spend time with people beyond a screen.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It feels, I don't know, it feels like coming home to be with people who care about the same things and wrestle with the same problems and have the same hopes. It's just so affirming to know that we're all a part of something important.
Amongst many other highlights, our plenary speakers, David Brooks, Julie Lithcott-Hames, Lee Berger, Eric Johnson, the St. Mark's Students Panel, and Alan Stern left us with much to mull over and learn from.
The old idea that character is built on willpower and that willpower can restrain the passions, that's just not an accurate view of human nature. The way we form character, in my view, is less about iron willpower, sort of a Victorian idea, and more about forming loves. The job of school is to give students new things to love and to have them love the highest things. That's what I got in Chicago. Once you've tasted the pure wine, then the Kool-Aid doesn't satisfy.
I know none of y'all have overly involved parents at your schools. We're going to talk about what's happening near you. The theme of the conference is to help good boys grow to be great men. And I'd like to know how many of you in the audience are parents. Great. I am as well. And I'm going to tell you what I think about what we need to do as educators, but I'm going to open with story from my life as a mom.
It's a real privilege to have you all here in my city. But I'm also excited to be here because I don't think that there is an issue more important to the future of this city or to the future of this country than education. Because with an education, I'm living proof that anything is possible. And I really believe that. That's not just a cliche for me. I believe that. And that's always been top of mind for me throughout my nearly 12 years now as an elected policymaker from this community.
I first want to say it is an honor to be in front of you. It's humbling to be in front of people who have the future of this planet in their hands. And I don't say that lightly. You know, your work with the young boys of the next generation, the young leaders, is critically important. So what I hope you take away from really this story of I'm going to tell you over the next hour of discovery, science, adventure, and exploration is to instill in those young men the hope that exploration and science will give to their future, that there is more to discover out there.
Every student who enters St. Mark's is notified of his acceptance with this navy blue hat with his graduation year embroidered on the side. I was sent this one in 2010 when I was accepted as one of 32 boys in our first grade class. Over the past 12 years, we have grown into men together under the guidance of St. Mark's, picking up 61 more in our class along the way. This hat has lived a life sitting on my head for 12 years. I wore it when my senior buddy took me to the zoo in 2011. I wore it to the zoo with my first grade buddy in 2022. I've worn it on planes to Chicago, Detroit, California, and London. And in most of these airports, someone would stop me to tell me a story about their experience with the school. I've worn the hat to service events, coffee houses, parties, football games, study sessions, and great events. I've run hundreds of miles in it. I became the man I am today under the cover of this hat. Recently, I was given this, the exact same hat, while interning in our development office. I immediately noticed the difference between the two. How the 2010 hat was faded and framed. And I didn't realize what my hat meant until I got this new one a month ago.
No one person can know everything. It really comes down to believing in your team and motivating your team and selecting the right team. And I think that's true in education as well. It's certainly something, when I was at St. Mark's, even back then, we talked about teams and teamwork. And as a teenager, it was kind of a rote lesson. It didn't mean anything to me until even though I was on sports teams, it just didn't mean as much to me until I got involved in this kind of business. And even early in my career, we were doing very simple space flights, just suborbital space flights. You realize you have to entirely rely upon your team. No one person can do this. So you got to select the right people. You got to motivate those people. You have to help them operate as a unit so that nothing falls between the cracks.
Bring the plenary session speakers back to your school with videos recorded during the conference. Learn from these illuminating speakers on your own device using the Virtual Matchbox platform. You can purchase access to the videos for one individual or your entire faculty and staff for one low price. Engage your entire community. Purchase the video option by July 14, then watch your email for login details when the platform goes live on or around July 15. You have unlimited access to the videos for 180 days. More information can be found on our website, www.theibsc.org. It was also a wonderful privilege to be able to celebrate IBSC's previous Executive Director, David Armstrong, with the awarding of the annual Hawley Jarvis Award.
And it is my privilege to present this year's Hawley Jarvis Award to David Armstrong.
I stand up here on the shoulders of truly deserving Hawley Jarvis Award winners, and I thank them for the example they gave me and all the good work they performed on behalf of what has become a very important organization. I'd like to thank Richard Hawley and Tony Jarvis, after whom the award was named. They're truly inspirational. They're wonderful men, and if they were here now, they we'd be proud of the organization, particularly with it now all back together and meeting and taking advantage of the wonderful camaraderie and the important cause that we work for. One of the best things about this organization, and this meeting in particular, it does point out to all of you the important work that you're doing, and that you're part of an important cause that's larger than that which you perform at your individual schools, and in particular over these last couple of years where there's been difficulties and it required a lot of resilience.
One of the highlights of the IBSC Annual Conference for me was speaking with delegates about what their experience of our time together was like.
Everyone is very much focused on a similar goal, which is quite nice. I guess as teachers, we all have a common goal, which is about, as much as we all struggle with the academic and focus on, rigorous outcomes, everyone actually just cares about making good boys. Yeah. And it's so funny, so much of our time in school is focused on the academic outcomes, But then you come to a conference like this, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, no, but we actually just care about the boys, and we care about making them good characters and making them good men, and building their character, and don't worry about the outcomes. And you're like, oh, all right, am I just going to walk back into school now and like forget that and be like, okay, no, how do I get them an A? How do I get them an A+?
I agree with Tom. Obviously, it's still early on, so there's a huge excitement, and meeting people has been a great part of it. But it's exactly that what are we trying to do? We're just trying to make them good people. And why do we get into it? Because we care about the people. And that's come through strong from David Brooks. His talk was phenomenal about just character. So I've really enjoyed that.
Julie Lithcott-Hames stood out for me because she told her story, which was overwhelmingly personal and moving, and I think many of us in the audience could relate to, whether we were parents such as myself or teachers. I often feel that I'm parent to all the students in my classes anyway. So really moving, lots to think about, tears streaming down my face throughout that. And then what I really loved is afterwards there was just so much content. So she took me to a place that was very deep and reflective, and then she gave me a ton of content and specifics like wording, and I was literally capturing the wording and the examples that she was giving. So I've taken pages and pages of notes, and I know that I'm going to look at that for many years to come, and then I'm going to really think hard about how I become a better teacher and a better parent. So I'm very grateful.
The big thing I'm enjoying, I think the one thing I just love just listening to casually, but also being an active participant in, is the dialogue that's occurring among teachers, among administrators, among everybody who's here, to affirm what their school is doing well and hearing about what others are doing well, but then this reminder of this commitment to, okay, what more can we be doing, and how can we evolve in this way, all rooted back in individual, the individual schools and everybody and where they're coming from, their mission and the charism in which they're embodying. But it's always, we are doing these things, this or whatever it is, fill in the blank, name it, well, and it doesn't stop there. The conversation and everything I've heard and participated in, but what can we be doing more to serve the boys?
I just finished a session on teaching character. The first thing that I noticed was the room was overflowing. There were people outside the room waiting to get in, and we all did get in there, but it was just that many people interested in what is good character, what are best practices for that, what are other people doing at their schools. And the session that we had was in that sort of same model of engaging teachers and what their practices are and observing each other. And I appreciated that the school really honed in on a specific character trait, which was perseverance, and really tackling the wide span of different character aspects through that. And what was interesting is seeing a number of different faculty members and understanding that in order to help students understand the benefits of perseverance in their positive relationships, it's really just as important that the adults are practicing and working on their own perseverance and building positive relationships.
No, I think the thing that sticks out for me, just beginning with the action research and then being here, is that everybody is here because they are just passionate about what they do and wanting to be better. And it's refreshing, after the past 2 years we've had of kind of being isolated and siloed, like to feel that energy again. And obviously the sessions are great and the speakers have been fantastic, but the ability to be able to start thinking about with one another, having those conversations after, and meet people all over the world who are, one, having the same experiences, which is comforting, but also have new ways of looking at it, which is just great to start picking people's ideas and getting information and keeping in touch and figuring out how we're going to work together.
The conference, the experience I've had at this conference has been absolutely outstanding. This is my first international experience as well of this scale, and what I have found is it is amazing how education or common goals, like our passion to teach boys in general, students, and ways to tweak and polish and upskill ourselves and to polish our teaching. Our methodology is so great, and it's the collaborative spirit which I just found absolutely amazing.
I think after, 2 years of pandemic, we've been so separated and trying to do things online, it's really just brought back the fact that schools and learning are social institutions.
Yeah.
The crux of it, it's that engaging and interacting and reading facial expressions and body language and hearing the, tone that's really come out of it. I've just been in awe of everyone's positivity. Everyone's on the same bandwagon, we all love our boys, we want our boys to be successful. We are really supportive of one another, and it's it's like team enthusiasm.
And
there's no like Debbie Downer saying,
and being with
very
people
positive.
who are passionate about
Super passionate, and it's been so great hearing just what happens in America and South Africa and Australia and New Zealand. It's slightly different, but it's mostly the same. We're having the same challenges, we're having the same successes. And it's just been so rewarding just sharing our expertise.
How much time do I have? You know what, it's so well organised, the support, the feedback, everything's positive. St. Mark's, an incredible host from A to Z. It was just fantastic. The food, the cleanliness, the helpfulness. I haven't stopped smiling. I really enjoyed it, and you know what? I have learned so much from each speaker. I'm ready to take Jeppe High School for Boys by storm. There's just so much.
The keynote speakers have been amazing, inspirational, timely, relevant, and amazing. The sessions that I've been to so far have been so fascinating, so applicable to the things that I want to do in my own school. But the best part has been meeting so many different people from all over the world who care about the exact same thing that I care about, with teaching boys.
My first impressions, this is my first year, is just the sense of camaraderie among schools, recognizing that we have schools from several different countries represented in one space. And if it's any indication of what we can achieve when we all come together for common purpose, I think this is a prime example of it.
The IBSC Action Research Program also returned to an in-person format while celebrating the work of the cohorts that continued with their projects despite the challenges posed by the pandemic. Action Research Coordinator Laura Sabo tells us more. What has it been like for the action researchers to be back together in person?
It has been magical. Part of the enthusiasm, the body language, the connection, the human connection cannot be conveyed digitally. And so to have everybody and start this journey and complete a journey in person has truly been gratifying. I'm excited about this healthy masculinity theme because it speaks to many of the sessions and the speakers that have been presenting throughout this conference. What can we do to help boys excel in all areas of their lives? And right now their mental health and their social emotional needs are crying out, frankly, and I think teachers are just craving an opportunity to put that under the microscope. So I am excited about the ideas that I'm hearing and the passion from this group of researchers, their curiosity. They have learned from each other, and I think we are going to see some fascinating projects come out of this cycle of research that is going to have far-reaching effects within our school communities and our broader communities in general.
We could also celebrate Corey Brown of the Haverford School in the United States for winning the 2022 IBSC Action Research Award.
It is with a real sense of delight that we announce Corey Brown from the Haverford School in the United States is the winner of the 2022 IBSC Action Research Award for her project entitled Selfless Selfies, using digital portraits to enhance intercultural virtual exchanges for grade 8 boys. very much for this honor. I want to take just a moment to share with you 3 lessons that I've learned during this journey. First, I learned that small actions that I take can have really significant effects for my boys. The second lesson that I learned is that the art of teaching and learning is a lot more effective and fun when it's collaborative in nature. Thank you, IBSC, for introducing me to action research, because this leads me to my third and final lesson. Action research is what education should be. It is a field in which educators should be encouraged to innovate, where educators are trusted to find what works best for their students, and where educators are able to continue learning with and from our boys. Thank you.
There were so many things to celebrate as we came together again. And as sad as it was to see our time together drawing to a close, and as grateful as we were to St. Mark's for hosting us so wonderfully, we were able to get a glimpse of what it would be like to be together again in 2023 as we head to Westlake Boys High School in New Zealand for next year's IBSC Annual Conference. Headmaster David Ferguson and Johnny Waititi, head of Maori, invited us to join them in Auckland.
Morena, tēnā koutou katoa. I'm David Ferguson, I'm the headmaster of Westlake Boys High School in Auckland, New Zealand, and we're so excited about hosting the 2023 IBSC Conference, and we hope you are too. Firstly today, I'd like to introduce to you all our head of Maori, Johnny Waititi. Johnny will play a central role in our conference next year. He's a special person in the life of our school, and he's doing wonderful things with the young men at Westlake. Johnny.
It is indeed great pleasure to invite you all to Aotearoa in 2023.
Nau mai hara mai e te tini e te mano ki Aotearoa. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Ko Michael Soto Kuingoa, no Ngāti Whātua ahau, kei te noho au ki Tāmaki Makaurau.
Moi moi a means to have a dream, to have a vision. The annual International Boys School Conference is where educators of boys' schools from all over the world gather together to champion, debate, and visualize the future of educating boys. You're invited to join us in Auckland, New Zealand for the 2023 International Boys School Conference, Dream Beyond Limits. Your host, Westlake Boys High School, is celebrating 6 decades of educating and inspiring young men. Established in 1962, Westlake believes in developing young men with courage, character, kindness, and commitment. With more than 2,500 students from more than 100 ethnicities, it is one of the largest boys' schools in the Southern Hemisphere.
On my first day of high school, along with my new schoolmates, I walked through this archway, a young man eager to learn, unsure of what the future might hold. It symbolizes the beginning of a journey we have all shared.
Over my 5 years here, we have all been inspired and challenged. Our school doesn't only educate us, it helps us learn who we are. We all want to leave ready to contribute to New Zealand society and the world, with the confidence and competence to take on whatever the future provides. During your visit, we highly recommend experiencing what New Zealand has to offer. Our land of 5 million people has some of the world's most unique scenery, adventures, and cultural experiences. Aotearoa is beautiful all year round. When you visit, it will be winter. From skiing to extreme sports, famous walks with stunning backdrops, or visiting the Hobbiton film set from Lord of the Rings. You can experience something that is only available here. Experience our traditions and join us as we dream beyond limits about the future of boys' education. Haere rā.
We look forward to being together in New Zealand next year. Thank you for supporting IBSC Exploring Boys Education and listening to Season 3. We're busy planning for Season 4, which will launch in September 2022, and we trust that this offering will continue to inspire your work with boys. Until then, and until we meet again, keep safe and well.